Hello, ladies, gentlemen, and people. Welcome to episode 10 of MNW In A Nutshell, which is episode 5 of the Flashbang series, hosted on twitch.tv/Edward Bosco. For MNW In A Nutshell, your host is MNW's resident bookkeeper and statistician, Carla Bader of Victorian, Australia. Without further ado, let's go on to recap the events of Flashbang from Sunday the 19th of September 2021 Pacific Daylight Time. Our first event of Sunday afternoon Flashbang is an audio promo by the Son of Thunder, our previous number one contender, Johan Mjoln. In this promo, he says the Troll Train wanted to reach out to member of Hell's Kitchen Samuel Manatee after Suicide Gemini's actions because they were worried. The Troll Train saw a bit of themselves in Samuel Manatee. And after the Super Show on Sunday the 12th, it states that Suicide Gemini has indeed pissed off the wrong person, being Johan. Suicide made a bad call of faith to interrupt Johan's match and opportunity. And nothing personal, it's now officially personal. Before Suicide Gemini came, the title was one Ragnarok away from Johan, that the snake, Nero, fears Ragnarok. Johan says to Gemini, run, hide, do whatever he must, because when Johan finds him, no one will stop Johan from throttling him and sending him to hell. Not the official version of hell, it's got something to do with Johan's traditions. If you're interested, you can ask him yourself. But to finalise, Suicide Gemini has signed his own death warrant. And then we have an in-ring promo by the concern of Suicide Gemini himself, responded later on by the general manager of Flashbang, unofficial, as the official one was suspended, Mr. Lawson. So first of all, in Suicide Gemini's section of the promo, he says that it is nothing personal. Oh, and I had to state that even the audio team didn't like Suicide's behaviour because he was muted for a whole portion. So after he was unmuted, Suicide Gemini says, it was nothing personal, Johan. It was about Nero. Nothing to do with Johan at all. But Suicide Gemini said that Johan had screwed up against Nero Napier, that Johan did not cut the head off the snake, and he was indeed distracted. And that's when Mr. Lawson comes on and says, how many times have the brass told Suicide Gemini not to get involved with Nero Napier? He ruined a potential Super Show moment. Suicide Gemini is, like his name, suicidal. And then Mr. Gemini says, oh, suspend me. But Lawson says that that would be too easy. Instead, Mr. Lawson will let Suicide Gemini wander around the Flashbang quarters, I guess, freely. And that there are a lot of angry roster members, I'm sure, that want to air their grievances with Gemini in the locker rooms. And so Gemini states that, yes, it seems the inmates can run the asylum, hey? And there is going to be no help from Lawson this time. Gemini is all on his own. And then he turns to finding a number one contender, in which he mentions a new tournament. So therefore, beginning of the tournament arc again. And the first match of this singles number one contender tournament will be the main event of today's show. And then after that, that's not all. Suicide Gemini goes on a mad rampage against Mr. Lawson. The show host of Flashbang says one thing, but if you caught evidence footage before they flicked away, it looked like Mr. Lawson had some punchback in him. So, yeah, can Mr. Lawson fight or what? But, you know, if you follow the main narrative, it was just Suicide handing him the beatdowns, nothing else. I guess we'll see the results of that in the following weeks. Remember, there are grievances from a lot of angry roster members, so watch out, Gemini. I wouldn't want to be you. And then after that, we begin the sequence of matches. We have our staple 8-man showcase match. In order of rankings, we have the second half of Vaporwave Aqualung coming in 8th place. And then we have our, tech investigator, tech savvy, the Omni Geek, coming rank 7. We have one half of Electro Reality, the virtual reality, I don't know who his best friend is, VR junkie. Can somebody tell me what he sees in those goggles? And then we have one half of the Time Bandits and a third of the House of Caliban, the adopted son Thunderbolt, coming in rank 5. We have a third of the Troll Train, Tiki the Troll, coming in rank 4. We have Mercenary, who used to be part of the Empire of Terror before they disbanded from their loss at Multivania. Now we have Independent Mercenary, Aurelian Starhand, coming in 3rd place. We have a third of Fabulous, you can say the leader of Fabulous, Joseph Cowman, coming in 2nd. And then we have one of the original members of the Four Horsemen, Ramund, coming in 1st place with a pinfall, which in this showcase match gives him his 2nd showcase victory. And next up, we go straight into another match. It is a singles match. We have our interdimensional champion, Brawl Kaiser, against our king merchant, Zack Deweaver. Brawl Kaiser wins that match against Zack Deweaver with a pinfall. But then at the end of that, which we don't have any evidence footage because this is not firing line, but if you go back to the actual VOD, Nitzig Gunk Gobbler from the cartel comes in and, I guess he's not happy about something. Brawl has had a feud with Hutch for quite a while, so I guess the cartel getting in there. And then we have another in-ring promo by another mercenary, Jack the Questionable. In this promo, he says that if Grant Martin the Bulldog had pulled out the brass knucks last week in the same way that Jack the Questionable did, the narrative would be different. Jack the Questionable has asked for consistency, and he has been consistent. But he shouldn't expect that from anybody else, no. Just goes to show that we don't know Jack. And he means that on many different levels. He says we're clueless, no emotional intelligence. And then he asks us, do we like Jack the Questionable's new boots? They are 24 karat and he would wear them a second time. It's a symbol of him and his effectiveness as a mercenary. He gets jobs done. Whatever, who cares about the win-loss record? He always gets the job done no matter what. He's paid to send the message, to hurt somebody. But it was about a win at the Super Show last week, and Grant Martin the Bulldog and DeLuna 13 are a lost pair of puppy dogs. Honor Bound are just some vigilantes that are not good enough to get paid. Mercs that nobody wants to hire. They are a joke. And now he leaves Honor Bound and Shere Khan in his rearview mirror. I guess time will tell what he sets his sight on next, or I guess who pays him to pull off such a heinous crime next. Is that just an assumption? Because, Jack, if you have many facets, I don't know you. I don't know, Jack, so can you tell me a bit more about yourself? Thank you. And then we have an audio promo by half of the Mad World Madness on another episode of Mad Ramblings. Their top story, Suicide Gemini lives up to his namesake by signing his own death warrant. With the gun, he has rolled, oh my, a natural 20. Madness was fully prepared to talk about how Mad World retained the belts against the cartel's Viktor Vicious and Nitzig Gunk Gobbler, and also an unbiased opinion regarding Spectre Sonata and the forces of nature. But how could he talk about all that after seeing Johann Mjoln, the son of thunder, get screwed once again? He can only offer his deepest condolences, a wish of good luck, and a gift basket of scented soaps and lotions. And also, the Troll Train is more than welcome to try for the belts if they wish. But Madness also wants to thank the Cartel for the fun rivalry, and if the Cartel wants a rematch, they can have it. The one last piece of advice to everybody on the roster: stop rubbing your noses where they don't belong, and that is how you most likely keep yourself out of deliberate harm's way. Nobody was harmed in the making of this promo, at least. And then we have our third match of the night. It is the Forces of Nature, Huge Mane accompanied by his faction mate Big Rock, and Huge Mane faces the Mandalorian Kuso Kale with her faction member Madness at ringside. In this match, Kuso Kale takes the win against Huge Mane with a pinfall. And as we know from last week's Super Show, Spectre Sonata versus the Forces of Nature, it will be the Forces of Nature that get to go against Mad World at, I believe... Oh, it's not Apocalypse, this is Flashbang. Breakdown. Breakdown is the name of Flashbang pay-per-views, and I believe that to be on All Hallows Eve, 31st of October. Time to be determined. So, without further ado, our next event of Sunday afternoon Flashbang, an in-ring promo from the leader of the cartel, the mob boss, Viktor Vicious. And it's conveniently placed after that match, which had, I guess, Kuso Kale in it, because the main subject of this promo is Kuso Kale. He says that it is a convenient strategy that Madness would mention a rematch, because now the brass won't give the cartel a rematch. So, in a hidden manner, Mad World are frankly cowards. But make it... Oh, sorry, there's a helicopter flying above me, so my room's shaking a little, but I will press on. So, even though Madness was, I guess, cowardly enough to suggest a rematch in this way, Viktor suggests they make it a triple threat match, being Mad World, Forces of Nature, and the Cartel. Now, about that Mandalorian Kuso Kale, always hiding behind her boyfriend Hutch. Viktor Vicious gives some serious orders to Hutch to take out Kuso, or if that doesn't happen, then Viktor is going to get the hands on her himself, and oh boy, I bet you don't want that to happen. This will be the last time we see Kuso Kale in an MNW ring again, according to Viktor Vicious. And then that is followed by a singles match, our fourth match of the afternoon. We have Triple A's El Pollo de la Muerte against the Cyberbots Cool J Kyo. A Triple A faction members at ringside Slamphibian, Sheepy and Demolition Fox, and Cool J Kyo accompanied by faction member the Cyber Controller. In this match, El Pollo wins with a submission against Cool J Kyo. And then we have another singles match. Jack the Questionable did that in-ring promo earlier. Just goes to show we don't know Jack. And here comes Narja, I guess, wanting to prove herself. She wants to know a little bit more about Jack, or, what's he going to do next? And so in this match, Narja has a win against Jack with a pinfall. And then we have an audio promo from our Fae Queen, Kath Gina. It is another strange phone conversation with, I don't know who's on the other side of that call, supposedly her husband, and they're talking about the children and other stuff. And she says something up to the husband, not about the husband, but to him. She doesn't care what happens to him. He brought it upon himself, and that she misses hubby, and she didn't feel as alone when he was around. What the heck are they talking about? Next. So we have our sixth match of the afternoon, which is a 3-on-3 Tornado Tag Team match. We've got Blight Howlis, the newly recovered Blight Howlis, Pirate Zephyr Tail, and the Hotbird Crimson Phoenix of Apex going against the Mandalorian Hutch Kale, our Orky Orc guy Nitzig Gunk Gobbler, and the mob boss leader Viktor Vicious of the Cartel. The Cartel pulls out a win for this match with Hutch Kale pinning Apex's Zephyr Tail. And then we have another audio promo from the Grim Reaper, who used to be in the Empire of Terror when it was a faction, and now he seems to be going his own direction. We still have yet to determine what he's truly doing, but I guess this audio promo will help us determine a little bit. The Grim Reaper also states that Suicide Gemini had screwed up, and that the Grim Reaper calls to now go one-on-one with Nero Napier for the title, so the Grim Reaper wants in on that title shot. That is if Nero will accept. And the last words to Nero are, "Your streak shall rest in peace." So we might see the Grim Reaper in that world title tournament. We will see. But the next match is a tournament match, as promised in Mr. Lawson's in-ring promo. Here we have Lionel Matrix accompanied by Mr. Rabbit. Why is Mr. Rabbit accompanying him? I mean, yeah, there were always mentions of a new group called the Grand Equation, but why is Lionel Matrix a part of it? I guess, as I always say, my message when I don't know is we will find out in future weeks, and Lionel faces the Black Prince, Jack Andrews, who has, I guess, recently returned from a bit of a hiatus, although Jack Andrews seems to have gone pretty well in terms of the ring rust, as he won that match against Lionel with a pinfall, and therefore Jack Andrews goes to round 2 of the World Title Tournament. But unlike Warzone, we haven't been given the brackets for this tournament yet, and so I do not know who Jack Andrews will be going up against. But that is it for Sunday afternoon Flashbang, Sunday the 19th of September 2021 Pacific Daylight Time. Our show length this time, usually it's within 2 to 3 hours, but this time it was a little bit shorter. It was 1 hour, 53 minutes and 10 seconds approximately. And if we go to our segment summary, this afternoon we had 7 matches, 7 promos, no backstage encounters, so that gives a total of 14 events. If you take away 4 audio promos, that gives us a final total of 10 produced events. Now let's just talk quickly about show times here. Usually it is a different time, but lately it's been running on Sundays, and we heard from the man himself, the host of Flashbang, that it will be going again this Sunday afternoon. It is approximately, tentatively, 1 o'clock to 3 o'clock, so it can start within those 2 hours in regards to Pacific Daylight Time. But every other week when not, it is Friday afternoons, 5 o'clock p.m. PDT, and you can find Friday Night Flashbang on twitch.tv/Edward Bosco. But for MNW Flashbang in a nutshell, this has been Carla Bader from Victoria, Australia. Wherever you are in the world, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, or night, and thank you.